free plastic bags when you're going food shopping.
What an example. What? Marcus needs to lose his pretty privilege.
Yes, I do experience pretty privilege, but there are tiers to pretty privilege, and I'm on the lower tier. So pretty privilege has 3 tiers. There's entry.
What tier are you on? Are you on entry level?
I am God level status.
Entry level pretty privilege doesn't automatically mean that people are going to give me things or be nice to me because of the way that.
You know what? I want to go to a job interview and when they're like, what stresses have you had in life? Well, being an entry level pretty privileged person, I've had to adapt socially to people.
Oh, that'd be funny.
You know, because I'm a 7, I can make people do things that I want. And I'm not talking about in terms of looks, I'm talking about inches. I walk into a room with my 7 and I, you know, manipulate people into doing what I want.
Not a given, but being pretty is a tool that I can use to my advantage. So I hope you guys.
Being pretty is a tool that I can use for my advantage.
Nice.
So that would be like in a job interview if they ask, what are your strengths?
Pretty privilege.
Pretty privilege. I'm a 7 and I know how to use it.
Yep.
That's what I always lead with, but I'm not talking about being pretty.
You guys enjoyed this video, and if you don't know me, I'm Vic, and I'm a diagnosed psychopath, and I talk about being a psychopath.
I'm a diagnosed psychopath.
Wow. I mean, this video.
You know what? That is the perfect way to sum up this person.
You know how online people are like, I'm an accountant who helps people save money on taxes?
Yes.
Hers is, I'm a diagnosed psychopath. Like, how is that your selling point?
Oh, wow.
I'm an investment guru who makes people 100 grand a year. I sell cars and I'm the #1 in the whole of Australia. I'm a diagnosed psychopath.
That is. Wow.
Pretty privilege is real, and here's how you can use it to your advantage. So here are 3 signs that you're more attractive than you think.
How is there a bloke talking about this? Oh, this
Because it applies to men and women.
It does apply to men. Okay. I'll look forward to hearing this.
You've never experienced
You're
it.
right.
because
I haven't.
You're gonna want to save this video for later.
You're going to want to save this video for later because there are 3 things. And if you have to watch this again to know what the 3 things are, God help you. Why would you want to save this?
Why?
Why would you want to save this for later to come back and see if the 3 things? There's 3 things. You're going to go yes, no, yes. It's not like you're going to go, oh, I'll need to check this in 5 months to figure out if I know.
No, I've got to watch it again 1 hour later just to confirm whether I have pretty privilege or not.
Number 1, people are willing to go out of their way to help you with things.
Marcus, that ever happened to you?
Not that I can recall.
Whenever you ask me for something, I tell you get fucked. So
Yeah, exactly.
You got no.
No, I got nothing.
If you were hotter, I would have definitely helped you more in life.
You would have done.
Most people would not go out of their way to help you with things unless they found you physically attractive or like something about you.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't have friends who help them. Like, how delusional are these people that like, you know, you help people sometimes because they're a friend. Maybe they're a colleague. Maybe they're your boss. You help them so that you can get ahead.
No, pretty privilege.
Yeah. The only reason why anyone's ever helped anyone ever.
Pretty privilege.
Yeah. And you need to save this video for later in case.
Just think about it. Why does the bouncer let in the pretty go first and lets her skip the entire line while you're still waiting there for like an hour?
Perfect example. That is the only time anyone's ever helped someone.
Number 2, you attract positive attention.
Only pretty people get positive attention. Ugly people like you get negative attention, and that's why you're surrounded by negativity.
I don't think I'm getting pretty privilege at all.
You know what? You would have a football team that wins if you had pretty privilege.
In fact, you're right. If my football team actually won a final, I might actually have pretty privilege. I might experience it for like a day or something, and I reckon that's it.
But they keep losing because you bring negativity to the team.
Nailed it.
People are generally polite and respectful when they interact with you. They may even compliment your physical appearance, like your eyes, your hair, your smile, etc.
Yeah, that's the only time you're ever going to get a compliment or positivity is if you're pretty.
Oh.
And this same type of energy won't be reciprocated when someone ugly is talking.
What? No one's ever been polite or complimented an ugly person.
Wow. Oh my God. How delusional.
Yeah, let's be real. And again, make sure everyone, if you're watching this and you haven't saved this,
Save it.
it's
Make
because
sure
you're ugly.
you do.
Yeah. You need to refer to this later.
Oh my God.
Lastly, number 3, people tend to be way more forgiving when you make a mistake.
Yep. I do not forgive ugly people.
Damn!
Ugly person bumps into me on the street. fucking hit him. Attractive person walks into me on the street. I'm so sorry,
no
sir.
problem.
Love your smile.
Yep.
And this is because of something called the halo effect, where people just assume the best out of you because you're attractive.
Yep. I mean, they've both said the same thing, that people assume the best out of you because you're attractive.
Both of them are delusional.
The dumbness of this whole thing is that obviously there's a little bit of truth to this, but there's no way near as much as this.
People will deem you the epitome of perfection.
If you're attractive, you're the epitome of
The
perfection.
epitome of perfection. Oh, wow.
If you were to make a mistake, they would classify it as a genuine mistake. For example, if you were to make a mistake at work, your boss probably would be a lot more lenient with you compared to another colleague.
Yep. That's always happened in a workplace. You get those workplace reviews and they're like, Jessica, you're a pig. Piggy power! You didn't make enough phone calls today. Sally, you're hot as hell and you made a little less phone calls, but
That's okay.
I like the way you did it.
yeah.
And this is all because you're more attractive than you actually think.
Well, I've learned that I am more attractive than I think because I'm going through life that way.
What the
3 signs you might actually have pretty privilege. And number 3 is my favorite. Pretty privilege is
I mean, TikTok pretty much does prove it because who would watch this if the person was ugly? But at the same time, it's also because you're delusional as hell.
3 babies stare at you. It is scientifically proven.
Babies stare at you.
babies stare at you? Right.
That's why when you have a baby, it's always good to walk them around so that you can see who they stare at. Yeah, baby! You know, that's actually how I pick who I date. I use a baby for Tinder, and then if they stare at the profile, then I swipe
Then
right.
you know, yep. Should we be giving our Tinder apps to like our 4 or 5 year old cousins and they effectively decide who we want to swipe right on?
Legally speaking, I really don't think so. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be big discrepancies.
Oh, there might be. Sure, let's let the kids decide who we swipe right on Tinder for.
In fact, that should be in your profile. If I swiped right, it's because my 5-year-old cousin likes you.
Cousin likes you.
And you have pretty privilege.
Yes.
I mean, imagine even just thinking to make this video.
How is the level of delusion with this stuff?
There are signs you're prettier than you think you are, part 2. First one is kids will stare at you.
There's a part 1 to this, apparently.
There's part 4.
There's a part 4.
So I don't know what happened to part 1 because I couldn't find it, but we got part 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, all right, let's start with part 2.
Think you are, part 2. First one is kids will stare at you. I don't mean they'll look at you when you're doing something like a funny face. I mean like they will just stare at you in awe. The second
See, I don't agree with that. Kids will actually stare at you no matter what, particularly if you have something weird or interesting on, or if you're ugly as hell. In fact, I want to put it up with these people. You give me someone that's really ugly, and you give me someone that's averagely hot, and we'll see who the kids stare
You're
at
right,
first.
that would actually be, that's a great experiment.
We should post an ad online looking for kids to stare at people.
Oh, we've got to do this.
You can do it on your own because I don't want to be
No.
involved in hiring kids to measure the attractiveness of adults.
say you help someone out with something, instead of just saying thank you, they'll thank you, but they'll also smile. People
If people thank you for doing something, they're going to smile if you're pretty, but as Marcus can tell you, they won't if you're ugly.
Yep.
That's why Marcus never sees a smile.
tend to be friendlier and smile at people that they find attractive. So if kids stare at you and people love to smile at you, then it means
Then kids are attracted to you. How weird. Like, she hasn't thought through the logic of what she's saying, because when you put the two together,
There is no logic to any of this in the first place. That's why she hasn't thought about it.
Marcus, this is TikTok. It's science.
It's science.
This woman has a PhD. Part 3.
Here are 2 more signs that you're prettier than you think you are. The first one is if you make a mistake, people are more likely to forgive you and be more lenient. So let's say you kind of messed up at work, your boss is more likely to be nicer to you than if another colleague did that. If you don't pay
That reminds me of the time when I was at work and I called someone a dickhead, and then the boss was like, "Oh, that's okay, James, you're hot as hell." But the same workplace, Marcus made a tiny mistake, and they're like, "Marcus, you're fired."
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
don't pay for a train ticket, the inspector is more likely to let you off and might even be friendly with you.
We should try that. We should get a hot chick to go.
I know that's not true because I was on a train recently, what I would call the relatively young, attractive woman.
Marcus was checking out. Marcus is digging a hole for himself here.
She forgot to get her train ticket and they just hammered her about it. So that's definitely
Yeah,
not
I
true.
actually think sometimes it would go the other way. People
That's-
are like
yeah.
angry and jealous because, like, if that ticket inspector, and let's face it, ticket inspectors not necessarily a job for models.
They didn't go easy. They didn't go easy.
They're gonna take it out on her.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "F you."
They're like, for once, I've got a reason to absolutely hammer someone.
Where they get this wrong is if it's a guy who's attracted to a girl or a girl is attracted to a guy, and then so the age range has got to be appropriate and whatnot, then this is going to come into play. But if it's a woman, she's probably more likely to get up, who's not attracted to women. She's going to be more upset with an attractive woman. And if it's a guy, he's also going to be the same with a guy. But if it's a guy who's attracted to women and it's a hot chick, or if it's a woman who's attracted to men and it's a hot guy, or vice versa, or all of those combinations, then you're getting away with the pretty privilege card.
I can tell you now, if there's a scenario and I've got to tell what is considered a pretty woman, this pretty privileged stuff,
you won't get the words out because you're coming your pants.
All I'm doing is I'm sending a work colleague who is a female to do it instead. I'm not going anywhere near doing it.
So there we go, everyone. You can get away with blue murder in front of Marcus because he's afraid of women.
And the second one is you get things for free regularly. This could be something as simple as free plastic bags when you're going food shopping.
What an example. What? Pretty people get free plastic bags. What? You heard it here first. You know, pretty people have it way too easily. Those plastic bags again.
Where does people come up with this?
Someone gave you lots of freebies and samples when you're buying something, but they didn't do that to the person before you. If those things have happened to you, then it means that you're probably more attractive than you think you are.
Or you flirted with the person and then you got away with it. Because I reckon in a lot of cases, you're going to get free stuff if you flirt with the person. You're friendly, you're nice, whatever.
Oh my God.
2 more signs you're prettier than you think you are, part 4.
Part
People
4?
can just be mean to you.
Yeah. I'm hanging out for part 5.
How many more parts are there to this?
Sadly, we only have part 4. We're going to have to keep checking back in case you post past 5, but we'll see.
Okay.
For literally no reason. Why? Because you bring out their insecurity. This is only for people who are like bitterly insecure, because we all have insecurities. But you'll just find that they immediately don't like you. They're cold towards.
So after they've gone and said that they love all these people love you and are so nice, now they come out with, oh, people will be so mad at you.
Towards you. They don't like that you have something that they want. Also, guys will be really afraid to like come up to you. Number 1, they assume.
There we go, Marcus. You already said this. You're afraid to come up to these attractive
In certain
women.
circumstances, I am going nowhere near a woman.
Because you can't hide your erection. Marcus,
There are some times I'm like, nah, and just handballing this problem off to someone else.
If he hasn't
Not-
rubbed one out that morning, you can't be near him. Because there's going to be a tiny thing poking out of his pants. And they're going to be like, that's way too small. What's going on there? Some people say that the meaning of life is to hit subscribe, like, comment, and then share this with a friend, then watch another video. But who am I to disagree?